Perinthalmanna was a town painted in shades of green and gold. Tall coconut trees swayed gently in the warm Kerala breeze, and their long leaves whispered secrets to the wind. Paddy fields stretched out like soft green carpets shimmering under the golden sun. Small houses with sloping red-tiled roofs dotted the landscape. The air was fresh and carried the sweet scent of jasmine flowers and damp earth. Life here was simple yet full of quiet beauty. People were kind and always had a smile for each other. It was a place where traditions were cherished and every festival was celebrated with great joy and togetherness. Anjali was a daughter of this beautiful town. She was a young woman with eyes as bright as the morning star, and her heart was full of dreams and colors. She was an artist. Her fingers loved to dance with paintbrushes, bringing to life the vibrant scenes of Kerala on her canvas. She saw beauty in everything around her. She saw it in the dewdrop on a lotus leaf, and she saw it in the wrinkles on an old woman's smiling face. Anjali often sat by the river, her sketchbook in hand, capturing the gentle flow of life. She dreamed of sharing her art with the world, showing them the simple magic of her homeland. Anjali loved Perinthalmanna with all her heart. She knew every lane and every tree. The sounds of the town were like music to her ears. The temple bells in the morning, the laughter of children playing in the dusty paths, and the distant call of the boatmen on the river. These were the things that filled her soul with happiness. She believed that art was a way to connect with people, to share feelings that words sometimes could not express. Her paintings were stories of her life, her hopes, and her deep love for the world around her. Her small room was filled with her creations. Canvases leaned against the walls, each telling a different story. Some showed the vibrant Tayam dancers in their magnificent costumes, while others depicted the quiet backwaters, with houseboats gliding peacefully. Anjali's art was a reflection of her gentle spirit and her keen observation. She found inspiration in the smallest of things, a butterfly fluttering its colorful wings, or the way sunlight filtered through the leaves of a mango tree. She believed that true beauty lay in these simple, everyday wonders. In this lively town lived a young man named Rohan. He was different from the cheerful, talkative folk of Perinthalmanna. Rohan was a quiet man. He spoke little, but his eyes observed everything with a calm intensity. He had recently moved to the town for work, managing a small spice cooperative. He found the pace of life in Perinthalmanna very different from the bustling city he came from. Here, time seemed to move more slowly, allowing for moments of quiet reflection. He was a man of simple habits and few words, but with a kind heart. Rohan often spent his evenings walking along the quieter paths of the town. He would listen to the sounds of nature, the chirping of crickets, and the rustling of leaves. He found a strange comfort in the solitude. People in the town were friendly, but Rohan was shy. He found it easier to listen than to speak. He appreciated the beauty of Kerala. The lush landscapes and the gentle rhythm of life were slowly calming his restless spirit. He carried a book with him sometimes, but mostly he just watched the world go by, a silent spectator. His work at the Spice Cooperative involved numbers and logistics, a world away from Anjali's art. Yet Rohan had a deep appreciation for beauty, though he rarely expressed it. He noticed the intricate patterns on a temple wall, the vibrant colors of the flowers in a marketplace, the grace of a bird in flight. These small details did not escape his keen eyes. He was a man who felt things deeply, even if he did not always show it. His quietness was not aloofness. It was a thoughtful stillness, a way of taking in the world around him without disturbing its peace. Rohan often wondered if he would ever truly belong in this vibrant community. He admired the easy camaraderie of the local people, their open hearts and their ready smiles. He wished he could be more like them, more outgoing, but his nature was to be reserved, to keep his thoughts and feelings to himself. He was like a calm pool of water, reflecting the world around him, but rarely showing the depths beneath. Little did he know that his quiet presence would soon find a unique connection in the heart of this colourful Keralan town. One bright morning, the Perinthalmanna market was buzzing with life. It was a kaleidoscope of colours, sounds and smells. Vendors called out their wares, their voices a cheerful chorus. Women in bright saris haggled good-naturedly over fresh vegetables and fragrant spices. The air was thick with the aroma of ripe mangoes, jackfruit and freshly ground turmeric. Baskets overflowed with red chilies, green bananas and purple brinjals. Fisherwomen sold silvery fish, their scales glistening in the sunlight. It was a place where the entire town seemed to gather, a vibrant tapestry of daily life. Anjali was in her element in the market. She loved the energy, the chaos, and the endless inspiration it offered. She moved through the crowded lanes with a smile, her eyes darting everywhere, absorbing the scenes. She was looking for a particular shade of blue for a new painting, a color that reminded her of the monsoon sky. She stopped at a stall selling handmade dyes and fabrics, carefully examining the different hues. Her fingers, stained with paint, touched the soft cotton, her mind already picturing the strokes on her canvas. Rohan was also at the market that morning. He was there to check on a delivery of cardamom for the cooperative. He moved slowly, trying to navigate the bustling crowd. He was not fond of crowded places, but the market was a necessary part of his work. As he turned a corner, laden with a small sack of samples, he accidentally bumped into someone. The sack slipped from his hand and a few cardamom pods scattered on the ground. "Oh, I'm so sorry," he mumbled, bending down quickly to pick them up, his face slightly flushed. Anjali, who had been the one bumped into, laughed softly. "It is all right," she said, her voice gentle. She knelt to help him gather the fallen spice. "Cardamom, the fragrance is lovely." Rohan looked up and met her kind eyes. He was struck by her warm smile and the paint smudge on her cheek. For a moment he forgot his shyness. "Yes, it is for the cooperative," he managed to say. Anjali nodded. "You must be new here. I haven't seen you around." Their hands brushed as they picked up the last pod. A small, unexpected connection in the middle of the market's vibrant chaos. After their brief encounter in the market, Anjali and Rohan started noticing each other more often. Perinthalmana was a small town after all. Sometimes they would pass each other on the street, exchanging a polite nod or a hesitant smile. Anjali was curious about the quiet man. Rohan, in turn, found himself thinking about the artist with the bright eyes. One afternoon, Anjali was sitting by the river, humming a soft tune while sketching. It was an old thalatu, a traditional Kerala lullaby her grandmother used to sing. The melody was sweet and melancholic. Rohan happened to be walking nearby, seeking a moment of peace after a busy day. He heard the faint melody drifting on the breeze. He recognized it instantly. It was a thalatu his own mother used to sing to him when he was a child. The song held a special place in his heart, a comforting memory from his past. He paused, listening intently. The voice was clear and gentle. He felt a pull towards the sound, a sense of familiarity and warmth that was rare for him. He slowly walked towards the source of the music. He saw Anjali by the riverbank, lost in her song and her art. He stood at a distance for a moment, not wanting to disturb her. But the shared love for the old lullaby was a strong connection. He found himself speaking before he could stop. "That is a beautiful thalatu," he said, his voice soft. Anjali looked up, surprised. A smile lit up her face when she saw him. "Oh, hello, you know this song?" Rohan nodded. "My mother used to sing it. It is one of my favorites." A comfortable silence fell between them, filled only by the gentle lapping of the river. This discovery became a bridge between their two different worlds. Anjali was delighted to find someone who appreciated the old songs as much as she did. "I love thalatu," she confessed. "They are so soothing, like a balm for the soul. They tell stories of our land, our traditions," Rohan agreed. "They have a certain magic, a timeless quality." From that day on, thalatu became a special bond between them. Sometimes Anjali would sing softly as they talked, and Rohan would listen, his usual reserve melting away in the presence of the familiar, heartfelt melodies. Their shared love for thalatu opened the door to a gentle friendship. Anjali, with her open nature, soon invited Rohan to explore some of the old temples in and around Perinthalmana. These temples were not just places of worship, they were treasure troves of art, history, and serene beauty. Their ancient stone walls were covered in intricate carvings, telling stories from mythology. The air within them was cool and smelled of incense and oil lamps. The rhythmic chanting of prayers created an atmosphere of profound peace. Rohan, who usually preferred solitude, found himself looking forward to these outings. Walking with Anjali through the temple courtyards felt natural and easy. She would point out the details in the carvings, explaining their significance. Her knowledge of local history and folklore was vast. Rohan listened attentively, appreciating her passion. He found her enthusiasm infectious. In these sacred spaces, surrounded by centuries of devotion, their conversations flowed easily. They spoke of simple things, of their childhood memories and of the quiet beauty of Kerala. Anjali learned that beneath Rohan's quiet exterior was a thoughtful and kind person. He was a good listener, and his occasional comments were often insightful. Rohan, in turn, discovered Anjali's deep connection to her culture and her art. He admired her ability to find joy in small things and her unwavering optimism. In the peaceful atmosphere of the temples, they found a common ground where their differences seemed to fade away. The shared moments of quiet contemplation and gentle conversation slowly wove a strong thread of friendship between them. One evening, as they sat on the steps of a small, secluded shrine overlooking a lotus pond, Anjali spoke of her dreams. She talked about wanting to preserve the traditional art forms of Kerala. Rohan listened patiently, his gaze soft. He understood her passion. "Your art is a beautiful way to do that," he said quietly. His simple words of encouragement meant a lot to Anjali. In these shared moments, surrounded by the ancient stones and the tranquil sounds of the temple, their bond grew stronger, rooted in mutual respect and understanding. Their explorations soon extended beyond the temples. Anjali, ever eager to share the beauty of her land, suggested a trip to a nearby beach. The coastline of Kerala was stunning, with golden sands, swaying palm trees, and the endless expanse of the Arabian Sea. Rohan, who had rarely visited the sea with such leisure, agreed hesitantly at first, but Anjali's infectious enthusiasm soon won him over. The salty air, the sound of the waves crashing on the shore, and the sight of fishermen casting their nets created a vibrant, refreshing atmosphere. They walked along the water's edge, the cool waves tickling their feet. Anjali, playful and carefree, collected seashells, her laughter echoing with the sound of the sea. Rohan found himself smiling more than usual. He watched her face glowing with happiness, and felt a lightness in his own heart. He even tried his hand at skipping stones on the water, a skill Anjali patiently taught him. The vastness of the sea and the open sky seemed to encourage a sense of freedom, allowing them to be more relaxed and open with each other. Another favorite outing was revisiting the spice markets, but this time together, not as a hurried chore for Rohan or a solitary inspiration hunt for Anjali. They wandered through the narrow lanes, their senses alive with the pungent aromas of ginger, cloves, cinnamon and pepper. Anjali, with her artist's eye, pointed out the rich colours of the spice mounds, deep reds, earthy browns and vibrant yellows. Rohan, with his professional knowledge, explained the origins and uses of different spices, sharing anecdotes about the spice trade that fascinated Anjali. These shared adventures, whether by the tranquil sea or amidst the bustling markets, were filled with simple joys. They tasted sweet coconut water straight from the tender fruit. They watched local artisans at work creating beautiful crafts from wood and coir. Each experience added another layer to their growing bond. They learned to appreciate each other's perspectives, Anjali's artistic view of the world and Rohan's quiet, observant nature. Their friendship was becoming a comfortable tapestry, woven with shared laughter, new discoveries, and a growing affection. There were also quiet moments, away from the temples and markets, where their connection deepened in subtle ways. Anjali often carried her sketchbook with her. One afternoon, as they sat under the shade of a large mango tree after a long walk, Anjali began to sketch. Rohan sat nearby, reading a book, occasionally glancing up. He was comfortable in her presence, the silence between them no longer awkward but filled with a quiet understanding. After a while he noticed Anjali was looking at him intently, her pencil moving swiftly across the page. "What are you drawing?" he asked, curious. Anjali smiled shyly. "Would you mind if I sketched you?" she asked. Rohan felt a warmth spread through him. No one had ever wanted to sketch him before. He nodded, a little self-conscious but pleased. He tried to sit still, looking out at the green fields. Anjali worked quietly, her brow furrowed in concentration. When she finally showed him the sketch, Rohan was touched. She had captured not just his likeness, but a certain gentleness in his eyes that he himself rarely acknowledged. It was a simple charcoal sketch, yet it held so much warmth. In return for her art, Rohan offered his listening ear. Anjali loved to talk about her dreams. She dreamed of having her own small gallery one day, a place where she could showcase her art and also support other local artists. She spoke of wanting to travel to see the art of different cultures, but always to return to her beloved Kerala. Rohan listened patiently to every word. He never interrupted, but his attentive silence was more encouraging than any grand praise. He believed in her talent and her vision. These moments of quiet intimacy were precious. Anjali sketching Rohan, capturing his quiet strength. Rohan listening to Anjali's dreams, offering his silent support. They learned about each other's hopes and fears, their vulnerabilities and their strengths. Anjali saw the kindness and depth hidden beneath Rohan's reserve. Rohan saw the passion and resilience in Anjali's artistic spirit. Their friendship was blossoming into something deeper, something tender, nurtured by these shared, unassuming moments of connection and understanding. It was a gentle unfolding, as natural as a flower turning towards the sun. One evening, Anjali and Rohan found themselves at their favorite spot by the river. It was the place where they had first connected over their shared love for Thalatu. The sun was beginning to set, painting the sky in breathtaking hues of orange, pink, and gold. The waters of the river reflected the vibrant colors, creating a scene of magical beauty. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the coconut palms lining the bank. The air was filled with the soft sounds of nature, a perfect backdrop for a moment that would change their lives. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching the magnificent spectacle unfold before them. Anjali leaned her head back, a soft smile on her face. Rohan looked at her, his heart full. The way the golden light caught her hair, the peaceful expression on her face. She looked like a figure from one of her own beautiful paintings. He knew with a certainty that filled his entire being that his feelings for her had grown far beyond friendship. He felt a deep, quiet love for this vibrant woman who had brought so much color into his life. Gathering all his courage, Rohan turned to Anjali. His voice was a little shaky, but his eyes were sincere. "Anjali," he began softly. "Since I met you, my life has changed so much. You showed me the beauty in simple things, the joy in connection. Before you, my world was quiet, perhaps too quiet. You filled it with music, with color, with warmth. You taught me how to smile more, how to open my heart. I have fallen in love with you, Anjali." His confession hung in the air, as gentle and profound as the sunset itself. Anjali turned to him, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. A radiant smile spread across her face. "Oh, Rohan," she whispered, her voice full of emotion. "I feel the same way. You came into my life like a gentle rain after a long dry spell. You understood my dreams, you listened to my heart. Your quiet strength gave me courage. You showed me that love doesn't always have to be loud. It can be a gentle presence, a comforting silence. You changed my life too, Rohan. You made me see that the best art is the art of a shared life." As the last sliver of the sun dipped below the horizon, they held hands, their hearts overflowing with a love as beautiful and serene as the Kerala twilight. And so, in the gentle lanes of Perinthalmana, amidst the swaying palms and a shared love for Thalatu, Anjali and Rohan found their happiness. Their love story was not one of grand gestures or dramatic pronouncements. It was a quiet unfolding, like a lotus blooming at dawn. It was built on small moments of connection, shared laughter, and a deep understanding of each other's souls. They learned that love could be found in the comfortable silence between two people, in the shared appreciation of a sunset, or in the simple act of listening to another's dreams. Their life together continued to be filled with these simple joys. Anjali continued to paint, her art now imbued with an even deeper warmth and light. Rohan, no longer just a quiet observer, became an active participant in the vibrant tapestry of her life, his gentle presence a constant source of strength and love. They still visited the temples, walked along the beaches, and explored the spice markets, but now these adventures held a new layer of meaning, a shared history of their growing love. Their hands would often find each other, a silent reassurance of their bond. They discovered that true happiness does not always come from big achievements or grand adventures. More often it is found in the small, everyday moments. A shared cup of tea in the morning, a quiet evening spent reading side by side, the comfort of knowing you have someone who understands you without needing words. Anjali and Rohan's love was a testament to this simple truth. It was a love that nurtured their individual spirits while strengthening their togetherness. Like two trees growing side by side, their roots intertwined. their branches reaching for the same sky. Their story reminds us that peace and joy are not distant dreams. They are present in the here and now, in the gentle connections we make and in the beauty of the world around us, if only we take the time to see it. Anjali and Rohan found their peace in each other, in the shared melodies of their hearts, and in the simple, beautiful rhythm of life in their beloved Kerala. Their love, like a timeless thalatu, was a gentle song of happiness, echoing through the green lanes of Perinthalmana, a reminder that the most profound joys are often the simplest ones.